January, it's just a really hard time to start a YouTube channel. You may have noticed that like my first few videos have just been feature on this and feature on this and feature on this of just these upcoming games. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason that I haven't been talking about games that have been coming out. And there's a reason I haven't been talking about the biggest news that's been happening. That's because there hasn't been any. I'm doing great for starting this time of year, but it's been really hard. But I'm really excited today because some news dropped that gives me something great to talk about. It's not great, this is a horrible news to talk about. Anyway, Nintendo Everything and some of the people who just contribute to that site, which used to be me, they put out an article or an interview that Nikkei did with Nintendo's president Furukawa. And because of this, there's just been so much of this Nintendo that everyone's been talking about again, that one day Nintendo's going to be out of the console race. And you know what? Come on, guys. Let's get real here. So today, I want to break down this interview. I want to take it apart in pieces so that we can get a better understanding of it. Maybe take our tinfoil hats off and realize that these publications are probably just running with news stories that they can get clicks off of right now, because there's not as much here as you think. There is a little bit though. So let's get into the interview. Now, Nikkei starts by saying, you've put out a lot of consoles and software, but there's always a really big risk that comes with it. Which Furukawa responds, we're in the entertainment industry. There isn't much we can do about that risk. To us, the guiding principle by which we operate is offering customers all around the world innovative and unique ways to play games. So you guys know Nintendo, they've always offered unique ways to play games. As far as the risk part of this goes, as part of the entertainment industry, you guys should all know that the entertainment industry is all over the place. It's always changing. These people, including myself, are always setting up ways that in case something falls out from under their feet, they're ready to land on all fours. That's why I have a Patreon. That's why people do stuff like they do streaming on the sides and these other things. Because one day if something happens to us, if something happens to YouTube, people need a backup plan. They can't just rely all on one thing, because one day that thing just might go away. And not just talking about myself here, like let's talk about Sony and Microsoft for a second. Like, you think Nintendo's on the edge of jumping out of the entertainment industry or jumping out of the console race? Sony and Microsoft, they have feet in everything. Feet? Seriously? They have their fingers in multiple pies just ready to gobble down, because if one day this happens, you know, Microsoft has all of their other products. They have their computers. Sony has all their other entertainment products. They're ready for that rug to come out from under their feet and just go falls down. Nintendo, on the other hand, they've been relying a lot over the last 30 years, a lot on this console race, that if they don't put up these backup plans and something happens to this console race, they're not ready. Anyway, I'm getting way ahead of myself. I'm going to jump back into this second part of this reply. So Furukawa continues by saying, I don't want developers to think too much along the lines of, what should I do if we fail? My most important role is to facilitate an environment in which they can demonstrate their own abilities. I'm no pro developer myself, so I leave the actual development to the leaders that can tell what a good game is and what isn't. Now, he says he actually leaves the development to the development leaders. What this basically means is it isn't just the people in the rooms developing the software. There's leaders out there as well that sit above these people that are kind of making decisions and helping this thing flow. It's all about this kind of tree of growth. You know, Furukawa is at the root, they're at the base down here, but then he branches out and has people that work into these other places. So Nikkei actually responded to that by saying, you're completely hands off, which, what? Where did you get that idea from that? Like, he's saying he's leaving it up to them. It didn't say that he just goes home and has dinner and only comes in for like 2 hours of work a day where he fiddles with his pen. No, this guy's still in there. He's still working away. He's just not deciding how many knives that the Shy Guy should have in the new Yoshi game.
He's got a knife.
He's there to help make these bigger, more vital decisions. He's not there for that type of stuff. I really think they got the wrong idea from that statement. Anyway, I'm not going to go into Furukawa's reply, but he basically goes along the lines of saying that like balance is needed, which yeah, of course it is. He balances how long like he's in there and how much he's out of there, and he uses these other people that he has under his tree to kind of facilitate that. So the meat and potato questions, the one that you're all waiting for, is this one right here, where Nikkei says, have you ever run into an innovation dilemma where the company's past success were too big, making innovation impossible? Now, they got exactly what they wanted out of this. They got the reply that they wanted. We're going to go into that. So Furukawa responded to that by saying, we aren't really fixated on our consoles. At the moment, we're offering the uniquely developed Nintendo Switch and its software. And that's where we're basing how we deliver the Nintendo experience on. That being said, technology changes, and we'll continue to think flexibly about how to deliver that experience as time goes on. Now you notice he says there that they're not fixated on consoles. And no, they're not. As much as some will detest, they're branching out, they're trying other things. They're putting their tippy toes into the mobile market. You know, they're putting their tippy toes into the theme parks. They want to diversify themselves. I really wish that I need a feet cam here so people can see what I'm doing with my feet sometimes. Now he also says he needs to think flexibly about how he delivers that experience. The quote could have stopped there because to me that sounds like they're focused on innovation rather than recreation. But as you're about to find out, the quote goes a little bit deeper. All right, let's continue because I tell you what, here comes a match that just lit the fires of content creators everywhere. Furukawa continues by saying, "It has been over 30 years since we started developing consoles. Nintendo's history goes back even farther than that. And though all the struggles that they faced, the only thing that they thought about was what to make next. In the long term, perhaps our focus as a business could shift away from home consoles. Flexibility is just as important as ingenuity." Before we get into it, I just want to go over that this is all completely true. Like, we don't know what the future holds. The video game market could crash again for all that we know. You know, a new form of entertainment could rise. We don't know what the future holds. This statement is like blunt and true. Does that make it a good statement for him to say? Not really. You know, his statement there, our focus could shift away from home consoles, there's a big problem with this, and that is saying something like that, it breeds insecurity in people. If I was to come out here and say, you know what, this is really great, this is all going really well, but one day in the future, I don't know if I'll be doing this forever. People are going to come here and they're not going to hit that subscribe button because they're insecure whether I'm going to be here forever for them to be a part of. They don't know my future, and that is what this statement does. It breeds that insecurity. So while like I don't think Nintendo's going anywhere, and I'm going to get into that, but at the same time, I don't like this statement. Obviously, I think if he could go back and change this, I think he would. You know, actually, I don't know. I don't want to project that on him because he might be the type of person that will always be that blunt and obvious about it. But to me, as a business decision, coming out and saying this, it does, like I said, just breed that insecurity in your customers. I do want to remind everyone that he said our focus could shift away from home consoles. He didn't say they will. He didn't even say probably. He said they could shift away. Now, you got to remember here that Nintendo has been building up Nintendo and what Nintendo is now, its home console business, for 30 years. He mentioned that in this here. He mentioned that they've been going for 30 years. Do you really think that tomorrow, the next generation of consoles, they just want to throw away 30 years of trust, 30 years of franchises, 30 years of Nintendo to be like, we're going to try something different? No way, they're not going to do that. It's the same reason that Microsoft, it's the same reason that Sony aren't going to change what they're doing. Not only because they love what they're doing, probably, but because they have built up a customer relationship, a customer trust, they're delivering a product, and they don't want to strip it away. If something is failing, you take it away. You don't continue with it. Nintendo, I tell you right now, they're not failing. Sony right now, they're killing it. Microsoft, they're doing okay. Alrighty, my camera died as it does every 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, Sony a5100, it is a bad camera for this if you're ever getting into this type of stuff. Anyway, I do want to continue with the last quote that we actually have here. And this one, it kind of got people who hate smartphones kind of licking their blades. So this time Nikkei says, "Do you expect fluctuations in business performance to continue from here on?" To which Furukawa responds, "I'm thinking about little ways we can reduce that kind of instability. I'd like to increase the amount of games on smartphones that have continuous streams of revenue. We're also dabbling in theme parks and movies, different ways to have our characters be a part of everyday life. I'm anticipating a strong synergy like that." It's like I was saying earlier, this instability, you need to be stable. And right now, it's just having a console, it's just like building one wall. That wall is very unstable, you can just push it over. But as soon as you build up the smartphone wall, and then you build up this movie wall, and then behind you, you build up whatever other wall that he mentioned, I forget what it was. You have 4 walls, and no one can rock that building anymore. You've got your feet planted firmly on the ground. Theme parks, that was the other one, theme parks. Did I say theme parks? Theme parks. I think the biggest worry that people are getting from this is that the mention of smartphone, because the smartphones makes it sound like the console market, or even not even smartphones, maybe the theme parks or anything else. It makes it sound Like the console market is getting smaller because of this. Like this wall can't be as tall because this wall's over here. That's incorrect. The walls can all get taller because there's multiple of them. Just because they're developing smartphone games doesn't mean that the consoles are going to get less. In fact, now that they have smartphone games, they have more revenue coming into there that they can now stem into their other avenues. We're going to get more console games. We're going to get better console games because they're in other avenues. This is good news. Just because you don't like smartphone games, I'm with you. I don't enjoy smartphone games. I do hardly any smartphone gaming. But this is important for Nintendo to have these other revenues, and it's working really well for them. You should be happy that their games are doing well on mobile, even if they don't interest us. All right, today's video is a way bigger breakdown than I thought it was going to be. It just kept on stemming out from there, but I'm glad we got to do this today because I like to try to do some different things. I've just been doing a lot of these list videos and I love them. I love doing these list videos and looking ahead at games that are coming and features and all this type of stuff. But I want to stay current, and this is something that's current I think people are talking about and that people enjoy. Anyway, that is going to do it for today's video. And if you like Nintendo entertainment, just remember, you can count on me. Well, that was awesome. Thanks for watching today, guys. I just want to let you know that before we go, if there's any games that are ever coming up in the future that maybe you want me to cover and check out some features for and stuff like that, I try to stay with all the bigger stuff anyway, but just to let me know and we'll see what we can sort out. I'm always happy to just kind of work with my community and what they would like to see. Yeah, today's been really fun. Thank you for watching. And I'm about to do the outro again. You know what? Goodbye.